Okay, let's talk about IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. And what is IDE? IDE, it's our text editor that will be a kind of program that we will use for writing our code, and then also this will come with some extra features. Basically, to write a code, we don't need any tools, almost any tools. We can open a simple text editor and then edit or write that code manually in that editor, and we will tell the program to run it. So this is not required, but it's very helpful to have some kind of tools to help us, and makes everything easier and much faster. So the basic program you will need to have is a text editor, and you have a lot of different text editor, but text editor will help you write a text. You will have a color coding, and that will help you write a text. You will have some snippets, and you will have some hints and so on. But IDE comes with some extra features, and I will show you during this that tutorial how the program can help us, for example, running the server, having Git included, and so on and so on. So there is a lot of useful feature, and I will encourage you to install one of the IDE. I will talk about it in a second because that will help us a lot. So the first IDE that we will use, it's a PyCharm. It comes with from a JetBrains company, and you can see here we are on the page jetbrains.com PyCharm. I will show you later on how we can install that IDE, because this is what we'll use for our backend Django. And that's PyCharm is designed to work with a Python. And they have two versions, so they have paid and free. Free will be just enough for us to cover everything what we need to do in our Python. So one option for our Python development will be the PyCharm, and I highly recommend it because it's a very good IDE. Everything is included and ready set up for us to use in the moment when we install it. Another option, and this is what we will also use in this tutorial and mostly for our framework, is Visual Studio Code. I have to say that Visual Studio Code is not the same as Visual Code Studio. So make sure if you download that IDE, it is Visual Studio Code. So it has to have code at the very end. And Visual Studio Code works with many different languages. And you can see here it's on many different platforms as well. And that's Visual Studio. It's coming from a Microsoft, and it's a lightweight version of Visual Studio, and it's also free. So go ahead and download this one because it's also very helpful. Another option that we won't use in this tutorial, but if you don't like any of those and would like to use something else, another option will be, for example, brackets. And you can see here that's coming from Adobe. You can also use the brackets, or another alternative will be Sublime Text, very popular text editor. As you can see here, you have code hinting and everything included here. So if you don't want to use the Visual Studio Code, you can exchange it with Sublime Text. And another options will be, if you like it, Atom.io, and you can also download that for your operating system. So that will be options you have. You have more options, but I just listed the most popular one. But as I said, we'll focus on two. So we will use the PyCharm for a backend with Python, and we'll use Visual Studio Code for our front end.